Hello everyone and welcome to another one of our Mythic Plus guides. This time we're going to be looking at the Theatre of Pain in Maldraxxus. So we're going to be doing all of the dungeons, all of the raids, bosses, so keep an eye out on the channel and keep checking back and see what you think. Basically these are just beginner's guides just to get into like Mythic Plus on like a plus 10 and above setting. It's no like proper elite MDI shite, it's just a few friends just clearing some keys and hopefully it can help you out a little bit. The fixes we have on this key this week is a plus 10 and it is Inspiring, Storming, Fortified and Prideful. So for those who don't know what they are, Inspired, basically there's just going to be a random mob in certain packs that just be bright yellow, which makes everything around it immune to stuns or CCs or slows or any shit like that. The mob itself can be CC'd or whatever. Storming is just these tornadoes you can see that come flying out. Happens on bosses, happens on trash. Very frustrating for the melee. Fortified is just a trash, has more HP and more damage. And Prideful, which I'll show you when we get to. So at the beginning of the dungeon you saw we pulled all of those 4 mobs together. They don't really do too much except for that big dude on the giant bear thing, whatever it is, does high ticking damage, but that's it. Onto the bosses, it's these 3 bosses here. I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure what goes on. A few of them put a shield on. If you ever see anyone with a shield, which is unpurgeable, don't bother trying to attack it because you can't do anything to it. If it's a shield like it's on now, which is purgeable, which I should purge, there you go, then that's fine. Apart from that, just interrupt any of its casts. One of them is a melee mob boss, so try and drag that to the ranged ones so you can cleave them all down together. And this video was filmed a while back when there was also a rogue that come out, and you'll see it pop out and start smacking people up, but as of the date of the recording this video, that is no longer in the game, so don't worry about that. And yeah, that's it. They don't need to die at the same time, they just need to die, really. There's that rogue there, you see it on the right. Don't worry about that, it's not in the game anymore. Let it be. You can kill them in any order, these bosses. There's an achievement if you want to kill each one last, but worry about that another day. That's it. Once this dies, the floor will open up and we will get sucked into the middle. A little bit of roleplay though, takes a bit of time. Here we go. Should have used hero on that boss. Thinking about it, there's no reason not to. You can. So we've probably messed this up a little bit, but you should be able to get hero out on the first, like a third boss, and then the last boss. Anyway, so again, when you're at the bottom, you can choose whichever way you want to go first. There's 3 different wings. We've decided to go for this one first, and you'll see why, because of Prideful in a minute. See the mob we're just nuking down there? That construct is the one that's inspired. Once he's dead, so he's got a yellow aura. Once he's dead, that's it now. Everything around it could be stunned, slowed, or whatever, except for that big dude, who's like a little mini boss. And all the tornadoes that are coming out. This mini boss does a few abilities. One is that whirlwind, which you just need to move out of. And I think another one does is he throws a weapon. Oh, he does this interrupting roar, so stop casting. That's it. These tornadoes not too bad when it's just a single mob like that, but when there's like a pack of like 8 and they're all doing tornadoes, it's a bit of a joke. But yeah, anyway, won't worry about that too much. So being fortified, obviously they have a bit more health. And so there's a banner at the back there. If you are a Necrolord, you can click on that banner and it gives your group a versatility buff for like 10 minutes. Not too sure if any of our members were at this point, so no. That's me standing still typing a message. Okay, so this boss again does an interrupting roar. and it also does like a frontal cleave like that, so just sidestep that. Also be careful because there's a pack, a patrol that comes down the right, which you don't want to pull until after this is dead, really, because we're going to get prideful once this dies. Makes the next pack a bit easier. For me, I'm just holding off my Metamorphosis. I'm either going to use it on the boss or I'm going to use it on this next trash pack with prideful. Let's see. I can't remember what I did here. But here I'm just going to try not to use it for now. Do my eye beam as the tornado comes out, which is always handy. And I'm not going to use my Glaive Tempest either, so I'm going to wait for that. I could pop it all in this pack, I suppose. This pack's not that deadly. But there was an inspired mob in there, which I saw. Ooh, and that cleave just nearly took out half our group. And here you can release, and you release in the middle and you just run back to us. It's not too much of a run back on this wing anyway. So yeah, Prideful should explain every 20, 40, 60, 80 and 100% spawns a red mob that comes out. And it does ever increasing pulse and damage, as you can see as the buff underneath it. It's on 11 stacks now, 12, it just more and more goes up, longer it's up, it's hard for the healers. And apart from that, he also shoots out these red orbs from players and make sure you don't get hit by other people's and you don't hit other people's with yours. The big dude, the one we need to kill, is the inspired one. We decide not to kill it with the pack, we rooted it and then we line of sight so all the other mobs come up here. Which is one way of handling it. I'll use my Glaive Tempest here, and I must be saving Metamorphosis for the boss, but I don't know. We had the Prideful buff, I feel like we could have just gone all in there. Oh, that was easier than I thought. They're dead, then we're just going to have one mob left on its own. We've still got 20 seconds of Prideful left. And because of the way, like, how much percent these little mini bosses get, we're going to get another Prideful just before the mini boss. Before the main boss, rather. There's that shout, which can be interrupted because he is the inspired mob. If it was someone else around him, we wouldn't be able to. So, into this mini boss. He puts like a little half shield around it as well, so as melee you've got to try and find the hole. And range, I suppose, to do as well. And apart from that, it just does a ricocheting shot on someone. There's the look at that. There's the shield. Just deflects damage. So I tried to get through it, and the tornado knocked me back, and then I tried to get through it again, and I got knocked back again, which is handy. Goddamn tornadoes! I hate them. For melee, this is like the worst. And I set another mini boss, but they give about 7%, so we are going to get another Prideful, which we're going to take onto the second boss, which is a really fun fight. And then I can imagine we're all saving everything here, saving Convoke, saving... Oh, I'm saving my Metamorphosis, definitely. And Prideful again. Let's move out of the way of that tornado. Could try and take it up the stairs so we can just jump straight into the boss. It's a bit fiddly because it's a bit narrow. And the stairs, those red beams travel a bit weird on the stairs, but we're all good. That's the boss right in that room there, so we're just going to play around with it here. And then we should be good to go. And I think we're going to hero him. Heroism this boss as well, or Bloodlust if you're one of them. And then absolutely melt this boss. We need to get our hero used, really. There's no reason not to use it. And I've even popped a potion on a 10 non-tyrannical. I don't know what I was expecting here. So this boss does a combo of abilities. It does either like a cleave, a green circle, or a little green circle that shoots out. So you see it come here. So that's the green little circle that shoots out. That's the green circle you need to move out of. And then it should do a half room cleave, yeah. So there's the cleave. It does it any ones in any order. Just need to not get hit by them. They're easy to avoid unless the banner's out. And if you ever see a banner out, you just need to make sure you nuke the banner ASAP because it slows you. Apart from that, he chooses 2 people to go down to have a little PvP battle. You can either have a decent fight or, as it's a Mythic plus timed, it's probably just best letting one of your players just lay down like Tree did there. She just turned her back to me and then just let me kill her. And then you both get teleported back up. And whoever won the fight, I think gets like a damage buff increase. And that's it. That's the boss. Made it a lot harder with tornadoes, but just make sure. Oh, Healer died right at the end. Doesn't matter though. No point wasting time resin. They spawn in the middle where we need to be anyway. Just make sure you kill the banner. Otherwise, yeah, you can get hit by those abilities. And the next wing we're going into is probably the worst one, which is the green slime of death room. You see, I've already targeted the inspired mob, which needs to be killed. Like, this is priority in this wing because these mobs do an awful cast. Wretch or something like that, I can't remember the name of it. The spewers that do it. That's it, devouring something, I couldn't read that. That needs to be interrupted. So, I want also the meat shield. I still think that devouring filth, or decaying filth, whatever it's called, is more of a priority. I'm just jumping and getting spanned all over the place with these goddamn tornadoes. But there you go, they're dead. You see, it leaves like a horrible lot of poison on you. And there's no inspired here, so we can just go all in. I'll do an AoE stun because I haven't targeted the filth one. There he is, and I got him with my interrupt. And I'm out of interrupts now for a while. The hunter's got one up, you can see on that little add-on I've got on the side above my healing meter. We killed a butcher. Who I swear just healed, but I think he might actually heal from one of his abilities, his guts wrench or some shit. There's another banner there which we could have chose to use if we had a Necrolord for a versatility buff, but we haven't, so that was pointless. Again, we need to kill the Spewer, who is the inspired one, which luckily is the inspired one because that's one that needs to have its cast interrupted. But there are 2 Spewers. And now I can use my AoE stuns, and I can use my interrupt, and everything is right with the world once they go down. Now, percent-wise, we're on 53. Kill this probably be around about 55. And it all times up to get a decent pride for one the next pack if you skip this mob up here. We decide just to go for it. It's quite an old video, this. Back in these days now, we're just trying to skip around that. This gas bag does a spew from the front and the back of it. You just need to be on the side of the mob. If you get hit by it, either front or behind, you get disorientated. But it can be quite easy to avoid. When it's on its own, you'll wait and see in a minute when there's loads of mobs. It's very tricky. This takes us to 58, which wasn't ideal because we're going to get prideful in 1.7%, and these 4 mobs are definitely going to be more than that. So we need, if possible, this is why I choose to use Metamorphosis here and get rid of the inspired one, which isn't the most deadly one, but it is the one that is inspired, which needs to be killed. All needs to die at the same time, but that's not going to happen if we need to nuke an inspired mob. Just get rid of that spewer, I can't interrupt it. I'll choose my AoE stun, not the best idea, but there's me panicking, trying to get away from the prideful there. Still got 1 mob left. We really want to focus that down more than the prideful at this point because it does doing that hit that hurts the tanks and heals them up a little bit. I'm going to get hit by that. Yep, that was my bad. I should have moved. Now, once this is dead, there you go. Now we can just focus on the prideful mob. And it's good to, I suppose it's good to get the prideful here. We was going to get it anyway, even if we did skip that pack. For this next pack, because all shit jumps out the walls here. A lot of spewers. We've gone big. So right, in this pack then, because we've got the prideful buff, we're going to have the gas bag, who you need to avoid, the spew from the front and the back, which I did there. And it's also going to have the spewers, which are still the main priority. I used my interrupt on the meat shield there, which I kind of wish I didn't. Sidestep that again. It's quite hard to see. There's quite a lot going on. This is the last pack, thank God. Interrupt that meat shield. You can't purge the meat shield off. You just, the quicker you interrupt, the quicker of, like, the less of a shield it is. And that's them two dead. And by the time we've got to the boss, our prideful will be gone. But it doesn't matter. It's not a tyrannical week. This boss probably one of the easier ones in here. You just need to make sure you don't get hit by its hooks that come out. And it will alternate sides. I think it alternates. I haven't seen it do the same side twice, but you see the hooks coming out from the side. Avoid them. There's a gap in them, and then a few seconds later, the chains will come through from the gap. So find the gap, avoid the chains, and then move behind the chains so the slower ones don't catch you. Apart from that, there's ads that come out. Just need to be killed, and when they die, they leave that green shit on the floor, which does clear up eventually. It's quite frustrating, but they're not too bad. This is they jump around, which is annoying. Never stand on the outside of this room in that light green area because you get silenced. And apart from that, he sucks people in with this tenderizing smash. I think it's probably the furthest away people. Just move out of that because it does hurt. And so find the gap, and I keep running through, do I? That was close. If you do get hit by the hooks, it just carries you to the edge, drops you in the silent zone, and that's it really. So always look for the... That was lucky as well, the smash didn't hit us. Gap there. I'm trying to stun the ads. I'll kind of wait for the ads to get grouped up for you with my Chaos Nova. And I can just burn them down together. Obviously these tornadoes are making it a lot harder than it should be. Let's get out the smash, find the gap, which is right where we're standing. Sidestep. See, there was silence there. And that's that boss dead. So now we use these hooks. And then we've just got one wing left. And this is the kind of green spirit one. Now, you can choose to pull half the room, or you can choose to pull all the room. As it's inspired, we just go for half the room because we can't actually interrupt all the shit that's being cast by him until that inspired one's dead. Which I'm kind of on now. I've kind of lost fucking target the thing here. Inspired one's nearly dead. So I nearly died there. I had to pop my blur a minute ago, but that's fine. Now we can AoE stun him once we get close. Take him down. It's not too shabby, to be honest. It's just normally though, that green shit that the boss is flinging down, which hurts if you get hit by it, and also these fucking tornadoes, look at them. But now, we can just take the rest of the room. I think we might leave that inspired one. Don't need it. So we just go around here and just line the sight the rest of them so they all come to us, which is fantastic with tornadoes. But luckily we kind of left them behind. I popped my darkness down there because the tank was taking a bit of a beating. And all of us could take a bit of a beating. Got my AoE interrupt ready. Am I going to use it? No. We're going to get a prideful mob here, which was pulled to the side of the stairs, which is quite a good placement here because you can just sidestep up the stairs if needed. So I'm just going to move there. That's going to hit no one. And then here, it's just going to do exactly what I just did. And then we're just going to keep swapping if it's us two. I think it was someone else on the back of the stairs. And prideful into this little mob. When this mob dies, it drops an orb on the floor, which your tank needs to pick up, and then they would choose one of those two little light up things next to the portal, and it's up to you which one you decide to go through. It just determines the order. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way. So we chose it on the left hand side, and you click on the portal when you go through it. There's lots of different platforms, just different orders will take you different places. Some of these mobs can be really deadly. Especially the people think like the bigger ones are like the most deadly ones, but it isn't, it's the little ones. Holy shit, they got deleted. Right, okay. Didn't have enough time to explain what was going on there. So there's an inspired one, I've already highlighted it, put an X on it. It needs to be purged straight away, that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to CC it. Oh yeah, it got CC'd. Alright. In that case then this little one is the priority. Because his cast is so deadly. Okay, so I'm popping a blur here because that big dude's doing a soul storm, which is just massive AoE damage. Which just needs to be healed through, but you need to help your healer a little bit there. Use like a personal cooldown or something just to, yeah, keep yourself healthy. That's why I used blur. I would have used darkness if it was up, but oh well. Instead, now we can just pull this mob on its own. It still needs to be purged. First thing I do. Definitely wasn't the first thing I did. Someone else did that. And then, yeah, so you see the tank's got the orb again he picked up through this portal. And then make sure I purge these straight away. I've got the interrupt in first. Now this big dude here, I'm going to use, use my Metamorphosis here because the next boss isn't for a while and isn't too bad. Because this pack really does hurt. Kill these little dudes first, but the big guy puts like these spears underneath people, which just shoot up from the ground and really does hurt. And I also put a darkness down here because this is Bone Storm. So if you get hit by it, it takes shitloads of damage. But if people are kind of hovering around this area in my darkness, hopefully I won't do too much damage, which it didn't. We can just finish him off. Oh, got cheeky prideful here. Which is kind of good for the next. Don't know. Would we rather had it on the boss? That's all our pridefuls use now. So we've got no pridefuls for the next two bosses. But it was never going to happen for the last boss anyway, because the way this dungeon works. But it does mean we're going to be able to kill this next pack really quick, because it's got a deadly mob in here, which I'll show you in a minute when we get to it. Through the portal. And then there's two little mobs and one big dude. The big dude shoots out a beam in front of him, which you need to sidestep like Death Wings. If you don't, you get hit by it and fly off the platform and instantly die. But he's not the priority. It's these little ones that are the priority that do that bone spear. They need to be interrupted big time and purged. And just avoid this beam just as you're doing it, that the big boss is doing. There you go. We've all avoided it there. We're all safe. I'm getting nuked by something, which is probably these little dudes. Dead. Through the portal. And all that's left now is just two bosses. Next boss is simple. Last boss is a bit more tricky. Click on that orb there in case anyone dies. You can just teleport straight back up to us. And yeah, so this boss is very boring for a tank. They just stand there and just tank it really, and that sounds stupid. The only thing you need to be wary about is these little green circles around players. You just need to spread out from other players so you don't get hit by anyone else's green circle. And apart from that, he does a draw soul ability where it would just suck your soul from you and you have to chase it down and catch it before you can carry on doing anything. You can prevent that though by standing in these grasping hands that it spawns. So if you've got draw soul on you, stand in those grasping hands, wait for the cast to finish, your soul comes out, it's stuck in the hands, you grab it straight away. Apart from that, you just need to interrupt that spectral reach it does, which does it occasionally, and that is it for the boss. So now, yeah, struggle of things to talk about. You want to save your cooldowns really, I suppose, on this one. You don't really want to blast, convoke, or my metamorphosis will be coming off in 30 seconds, but I don't really want to use it. I want to save it for the last boss with Hero. So I've got Draw Soul, so I'm standing that. I didn't realise you could both stand in the same one, so I panicked and run to the other one, but apparently you can both stand in the same one, it doesn't matter. That's it, dead. Spawn to teleporter, you click on that, you go back to the middle. It's a race. Yeah. Click on this, teleports you upstairs, and it starts like 7 weeks of roleplay before you start the last boss. Which gives enough time for everyone's cooldowns to come back up, I suppose. We still got Simad on there on the side. 10 minutes to finish it. 2.5 minutes to plus to it. And it's not tyrannical, so it should be alright. We're going to hero at 50% as well, because that's when it all gets a bit tasty. See what I mean about the roleplay. I'm ready with my metamorphosis, and we're in. So, this boss does shitloads of abilities. One of the main ones it does is a beam, which just travels around in a circle, which you'll see in a minute. For the tanks, you saw it do that reaping scythe. You just need to use a cooldown for when that comes out. Here comes the beam. It's going to travel either clockwise or anti-clockwise. That's it, just avoid that. Now, this is the harder ability. It's going to cause a rift somewhere. As you can see, it's right by the boss. And it's trying to suck you all in. And after a few seconds, you need to run out because you've got a green circle. And after a few seconds, it erupts and spawns an ad from it. If possible, you need to all be gathered up together so you can just AoE nuke those ads together, but we just absolutely destroyed them. If you get sucked into the rift, I think you automatically die, so you need to run out together, all in that kind of same place. And that's it. 50%, so now we're going to pop Hero. This is where he still does the beam, he still does those riff abilities, still does the scythe ability on the tank, but now there's these shadow ads that come out. And they out for a little bit, then they disappear, and then you can see them around the side of the room. And then you can kind of see they just run through the room. So that one's going to run straight through us. They're going to run through the middle. I'm safe here, but I got hit at the end because I was an idiot. Into a tornado. Popped a healing potion. There's the rift again, so we need to try and keep these ads together. Which didn't really work out that well. We was all kind of over the place there. I've not got enough rage. Here we go. Kill those ads. Kill the boss. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and check on the page for more, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.